Today I'm going to discuss facturas. If you live in Mexico, rent property in Mexico, own property in Mexico, or work in Mexico, then you'll want to familiarize yourself with facturas and how they work. A factura is an electronic invoice that automatically goes to SAT, also sometimes referred to as Hacienda, which is Mexico's version of the IRS. You'll want a factura for large medical expenses, vehicle purchases, and real estate transactions. If you earn income in Mexico, then you'll need a factura for any business expenses. With the factura, you can deduct work-related expenses from revenue. And if you're doing home improvements like us, then you supposedly can deduct those expenses when you sell the home. The way it works is when you go to a business such as a hardware store, grocery store, gas station, or pay your utilities and your internet, you specifically request for a factura. The facturas are processed electronically, so you'll have to ask for it before you finalize the purchase. The first time you ask for one when you go into a store, it usually takes a bit longer to set up as the cashier has to input all of your information into the system. But the next time you go into that store, it goes a lot quicker and it's a lot easier to deal with. For ongoing expenses like utilities, it should automatically register a factura when you pay after you've gone in and set it up to do so. I created my own factura information card and I laminated it. It's about the size of like a credit card, and I keep it in my wallet. On the card, I've got vital information that's needed, such as my name, phone number, email address, my Mexican address, and the SAT RFC number. The SAT RFC number is your tax ID number. It's easier for me to hand this card to the cashier versus trying to spell my name and spell out my email address, which makes no sense in Spanish. It also has all the other important information that they're required to put into the system. Sometimes the store will want to photocopy your ID as well. Generally, you'll get a hard copy receipt once you've done the purchase, as well as the factura receipt by email. The emailed receipt goes to SAT, and then within a couple hours or so of the purchase, you'll get your emailed factura receipt. In order to get the factura, you do need to have that RFC number. And in order to get the RFC number, you used to have to be a Mexican resident, although I think in the past year, the government has changed those rules, and you do, because you need an RFC number to purchase real estate, they've changed the rules to make it easier to get the RFC number for non-residents. The rules changing, I think, because the SAT offices are making a more concerted effort to collect tax revenue. For medical expenses, there's a generic RFC number that can be used for tourists and people that don't have their own designated RFC number. If you have health insurance that reimburses you for expenses in Mexico, then the factura is vital to getting reimbursed. Okay, so asking for a factura is important at the time of sale because taxes are filed monthly in Mexico. At the end of each month, you may have a tax bill due, and Hacienda will need to have any deductions to match up against your revenue. I don't have enough confidence in attempting to figure out taxes in Mexico, so if you have an ongoing source of revenue in Mexico, then an accountant is advised. Sometimes if you're purchasing like a bunch of cement or paint or a new toilet, the person ringing up your sale will ask you if you need a factura or a nota. And as far as I know, a nota is just a receipt. SAT does not recognize this as an official document for tax purposes, and it will not lower your tax liability in Mexico. You need the factura if you want the deduction. Our business expenses here can offset some of the taxes we owe. Acceptable business expenses can include gas for your vehicle, repairs, cleaning supplies, utilities, HOA dues, and so on. Online rental sites like Airbnb and VRBO automatically now withhold tax revenue and send it to SAT each month. I'm not going to go a lot into this because I've already done a video on rental income. It's probably a little bit boring, but I think if you do rent or plan on renting, it will definitely help you understand a semi-complicated system. For home purchases and remodels, such as we're doing now, we try to get facturas for as much as our expenses as possible. We're mostly keeping our fingers crossed that we'll be able to get some credit on all of the money we spent when we ultimately sell this property many years down the road. Capital gains on a property sale in Mexico is like 35%, and I've heard it's quite difficult to get the credit for the improvements you've made when selling. So we're preparing ourselves for the worst and doing what we can to keep track of expenses and obtain facturas. Keep in mind that without a legitimate building permit for home improvements, any facturas you obtain won't matter. Needless to say, there's a lot of paperwork that must be done, and even then, who knows if it'll work out in your favor. I believe businesses are supposed to be producing facturas for every sale and providing them to the government, as the sales tax they collect should be passed on to Hacienda. I've seen an actual sign on a menu in Centro that said if you want to pay by credit card, then they're going to add 16% tax to the bill. They're basically stating that that they don't pay the 16% sales tax to the government. And I'm pretty sure that restaurants, if they were in the United States, they'd be shut down in about 5 minutes, and the owner would have a mess on his hands with the IRS. But here, I guess things are a little more fluid and what you can get away with, which we quite enjoy. There's a decent chance that if you paid for something in cash at a small restaurant or store, that or it's possible, I'll say, that they didn't report that income to Hacienda, and that's the Mexican way. Well, it's also the American way, and but keep in mind, any money that flows through a Mexican bank, well, Hacienda is going to know about it. So if you are earning income here, you might as well do your best to lower your tax liability as much as possible by using the factura system. All right, thanks for watching. Good luck.